Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Besties in the Books podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Ashley, and thank you for joining us today. Full disclaimer, we are full on giggles already. We have tried to start this intro for an ungodly amount of time because it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a good time. And you guys want to stick around and join us. So while we're talking about it, go ahead and follow anywhere you guys like to listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you want to watch this podcast in all its glory, because we are filming it, even though we are remote, we are videoing this live and stuff on the YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe there. Even if you prefer to listen to us, go ahead, give us helps us out a lot. Give us a little subscribe over on YouTube. And if you want some extended content, because there's always additional, what'd you call them last week? Visual aids.
Visual aids, yes.
And polls and such, and we let you, the viewers, add your 2 cents into things. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Besties in the Book. Besties in the Books podcast, and on TikTok too. All those places you can find us and hang out.
Yeah, I think that about sums that part up. But
See you guys later again.
Bye. I know. No, it's just we both had really crazy weeks and just jumped right in to the new week, and it's already crazy, and so we're just hanging on for dear life. We're just trying to get into it. Everything's funny. Everything's funny, and we're not talking about anything yet.
Yeah. Sometimes you just lose your mind and you just laugh.
Yep.
It's gone. Mine's gone. So obviously this is not a serious episode, but which ones are? None.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today, Liz? What are we going to tell them?
So, I know, we're just going to go off on tangents, and everyone's like, what's this episode about? What's even happening right now?
We don't know either.
We don't know either. So, as we always say, the first 15 minutes of every episode are spoiler-free, even if we're talking about specific books, which we are today.
Yeah.
So, this is our first follow-up episode for our choosing our book icks for each other after our book ick episode where we talk about all the tropes that we don't like. And so we read the books that we had assigned for each other, and now we're back to talk about them and our findings, which were very interesting. To say the least. So I'm really pumped to talk about this. I think it's going to be awesome just to chit chat about books that we purposefully picked out for each other to read that we thought each other wouldn't like.
Yeah,
and what happened.
And what happened and all that entails. That was such a fun episode to film, edit, heck, watch. I had a great time. Yeah. And the books have been such a ride. I recommend doing this with any of your book besties out there, And we have a fable up for these books too. So some of you guys were reading along with us. Thank you so much, because it's just the more the merrier. That was just so fun to just, because it's nice to branch out and read something you wouldn't normally read and see how you feel about it. Maybe learn some lessons along the way, make some friends along the way. Who knows? We'll tell you. Awesome. We do know.
It was a great experience. I feel like this will definitely be a series.
Yes.
Because this can't just be a one-off thing. And it's not. We have more planned for you guys, but this is our first round. So before we get into more of it, so just so you know, we're not going to be talking about any spoilers for at least the next 15 minutes or so. We'll just kind of chit-chat about a few other things. And we'll definitely give you a warning before we get into the spoiler section, just in case you guys want to pick up these books and read them. Yeah. But I did want to make sure that we really emphasize the fact that even though, we are saying that these were our ick book picks, that does not mean anything about these books. It just means that they contain tropes that neither of us typically, or that person who is reading it, typically wouldn't be into. So, again, we just want to make sure that, we're not saying these are bad books, and we'll get into that. We're not saying that they're not enjoyable or, that we don't think that you should go read them. They just contain a couple things that perhaps we ourselves wouldn't personally be into, or maybe after reading it, we are. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
So,
you never know.
So I just want to make sure to put that out there, because we're not trying to, dissuade people from reading these or try to say that the authors did a bad job or anything like that. That's not.
Or we think differently of anybody who would like these books. No, everybody likes different stuff. Different strokes for different folks. And I'm talking really high.
Yeah, and it's just, yeah, you are. What?
I don't know. So you guys like what you like.
Like what you like. And, you know, it's like Ashley said, sometimes reading things that you don't think that you would like can lead to you discovering things that maybe you do like.
Yeah.
So try something new.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we get into talking about that, so just to give you a little bit of a preview, though, so the two that we had picked, just in case you hadn't watched or listened to the previous episode, Ashley had picked Courted by a Cowboy for me. As like a small town romance,
if you will. Good luck, you guys.
Good luck to us.
To like getting through this without laughing the entire time.
Yeah. I love that though. I feel like when I listen to podcasts or whatever, when the people are laughing, it's like I laugh then. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's funny.
You guys know what you signed up for. It's all your fault. If you're here.
All your actually it's your fault that we can't do this. We blame you.
Oh, we can do this.
We can do this.
But we're just gonna laugh the entire time.
Yeah. Maybe not well. That's our goal.
Maybe not well.
But we can do it.
We can do this. We never told you we'd be good at it though.
So the Cowboy small town romance that Ashley picked for me, Courted by a Cowboy by Mindy Neff. There was potentially some miscommunication, which I dislike. Nice guy, which I dislike. Potential pregnancy, we'll get into that. That obviously I dislike in books too. So that's why Ashley picked that one for me. And then I picked Getting It On with Gargoyles for Ashley. Purely based on the small town / tales action.
Tales.
And it performed in the tale department. So
yeah,
we'll get
I'd like to just say that I am now being haunted by tales from all of you guys. So I'll be desensitized eventually, so just keep them coming, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I'm getting tagged in all the tale things on Instagram. It's fine. It's hilarious.
Thank you all. Yeah. Thank you all for joining me.
Like, when you guys do that, it means you get us. Like, yeah. You're one of us. Like, you know, when somebody doesn't like something, it just keep at it. Yeah, you're going to make me change my mind.
Completely disregard their feelings and just...
It's what we live for. Yeah. Truly, I'm not being sarcastic. Like, we love it. Like, what was the Spanish daddy. No, not Spanish daddy. That's a different guy. The other Spanish daddy. What's his name? Pablo...
The guy from Game of Thrones that all of a sudden got famous because he was in the zombie show.
I did not even know that he was in that, but I didn't watch it, so...
In Game of Thrones? Yeah,
that's Pablo Escobar, is that his name? No. Amelia Escobar? Is that the dancing lady?
Gloria Estefan?
Hey, you knew what I was talking about, though.
I did.
Dude, my mom loved her. I bet your mom loved her, too.
Yes.
I was like, she was big for a minute. And, like, I think she's big all around, but, like, during that... I don't know.
Anyway, it's Pedro Pascal, first of all.
Wow, I was way off.
And then we went to Pablo Escobar. And then we went to Gloria Estefan. So just in case you're wondering, that was our train of thought there.
Well,
it was crazy.
Anyways, I was sent him with a tale as Cardin.
Oh my gosh,
that was hilarious. I was dying.
Because
it was a jump scare, but...
Well, because she also sent me in the same post, someone had made what was it? It was like a Mandalorian. What was it?
Oh, I remember, but I don't remember. I remember, but I don't.
It was like Smash or Pass, like something as the Mandalorian. And I was like, well, obviously Smash.
Was it Hunt? Was it Hunt?
No. I can't remember. That's going to drive me nuts. Whatever. But we'll figure it out.
He is the Mandalorian, isn't he?
He is the Mandalorian. Oh. Yeah, but it was like the Mandalorian like with his like helmet on.
Yeah.
As something else, but I can't remember what it was now.
Who wouldn't smash the Mandalorian?
I'm not even into Pedro Pascal. It's like
I didn't even know it was him until like fairly recently. And I
just Gloria Estefan in that suit.
It could be. You never know.
Pablo Escobar. What's going on? Yeah, no, it's like the same thing as like a stormtrooper. You don't know who's in there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The suit does it. It does it just fine. That's all we need to know. Okay, so Liz, we haven't even done our faves and fails of the week.
We haven't. This might just be a tangential episode, you know?
Yeah.
Just might be how it goes.
But we got to get into it. I need to know about the freaking Stanley Hotel, Liz. You got to start, okay? Start us off. Our fails and the fail of the week is not spring break themed. Spring break, because we are in our 30s and we don't live that life anymore.
Ashley's doing the rock hand. Spring break with the rock hand.
Spring break! We don't really have spring breaks anymore, but we had spring vacations. And I would like to know about your spring vacation. Yeah. Faves and fail edition.
So, well, I have an extra fave of the week.
Sweet. I'm down. Yeah. Let's listen.
That I didn't realize.
That's
that
better
I didn't
than an extra fail.
Yesterday.
You know?
Yeah. So, faves and fails of the week. I got to go on a family vacation out to Colorado and went to Estes Park for the first time. And so that's my faves, right? It was great. We stayed in a cabin. It snowed. Like, it was beautiful. I had never been there before, so we got to walk around the downtown. There was a sword store.
Glorious.
That was really cool. I wish I could tag them on Instagram. I tried, but like I don't think they have an Instagram page. Yeah. Either that or it's like called something weird. I don't know. I Googled it, but it's like a knife store also, but they have like a special sword section. Yeah. And that was definitely one of my faves because I've never been to a place like that where it was like the walls were just like lined with, like, they had a whole Game of Thrones wall. They had a whole Lord of the Rings wall. It was super cool. It also, though, like, a little bit made me mad because I was like, I want there to be a Sarah J. Maas wall. Yeah. But I feel like we are so far from that because I think that, and this is like a different topic for a different day, but I think that romantasy and female authors are not treated with the same level of respect in like the quote unquote like literature canon world as men are. Yeah. In a lot of ways. And so anyway, that's a different topic for a different day, but it made me really think about it where I was like, wow, if they would have had a wall of Sarah J. Maas swords, I would have spent $500 probably and bought one. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, I don't really want Jon Snow's sword. Like, it's cool, but like, I don't really want it. Like, I really like, you know, Aragorn's sword, but like, I also don't know that I would pay $500 for that. I love it, but like, it doesn't mean the same thing to me as like Ataraxia does, right? Or whatever. So I just thought that was an interesting observation, but I still loved it.
So we need to open up a sword store.
Oh man. Yeah.
Weren't there really cool helmets there too to coordinate? Coordinating helmets? That's so cool.
Yeah, there were a lot of really neat ones. I will say, who did they have? They did have Eowyn's sword, which I thought was cool. And they may have also had her helmet too. Like if I would have bought one, it would have been that one. Yeah. But again, like I'm not super duper, like I am obsessed, but not to the point where I'm like going to on a whim, like spend that much money on a sword. But they were really, really cool. I did ask my husband, though. I was like, if I start collecting swords, can I hang them in the living room? And he was like, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Lines are getting drawn, guys.
I know. So that was really cool. That was definitely a fave. So we also went to the Stanley Hotel, which I had wanted to do because I'm a big Stephen King fan. I'm a big fan of The Shining and Dr. Sleep. And just to clarify, apparently, I know this because we took the Shining tour at the Stanley Hotel. The movie was not actually filmed there at all. So they have a lot of like replica stuff that they've made just because I guess Stephen King filmed like a spin-off show in the 90s there. Huh. So whatever. Like the lore is kind of a little bit convoluted, but the point is that they did have some cool like replica stuff. So we were able to see like the green bathroom from like the Notorious scene with the lady in there. And they had like replicated like the bedroom that they're in, you know, when like he's chopping through the door with like the axe and all that. So that was really cool. Honestly though, I would say that like the tour itself was kind of a fail. That's what I'm going to put down as my fail of the week. This hotel itself was awesome. Like the lobby was really cool. The grounds were really cool. Like I'm so glad that we went and saw it. Even just like some of the stuff we saw, like the different rooms and everything, like I said, was really neat. But the actual tour itself, I felt like it was just kind of a weird, like Stephen King didn't actually like film anything here, but we're just going to talk about it a lot. Huh. So it was kind of odd.
Well, it was, he wrote it there, right? Or was inspired by that, staying there one night or something?
Yeah. So that's kind of the story, is that like he and his wife got stuck in a snowstorm and ended up having to stay there for the night. And, you know, kind of weird. He got weird vibes or weird stuff happened or whatever. And it kind of just, it inspired the story. Yeah. Which is cool, but it's like, that's kind of the end, right? Like, I don't need to take a whole, like, hour-long tour to, like, hear more about it. And our tour guide, I mean, I don't know. The whole thing would just seem kind of odd.
Sometimes it's the court tour guide, too, that kind of, like, throws it off.
It was like a level of intensity from the tour guide that was not necessary. And so all of us were kind of just like, whoa, the energy is kind of weird. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Like, you know how sometimes if you're going through like a haunted house or something like that, like your guide will sometimes be like kind of like jump scary and kind of intense.
Yeah.
It was like that, but like in a context that didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. Was the tour necessary? No. Like, I feel like I would have gotten the same vibes just being able to like walk around myself, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I would definitely like, I told my husband I'd like to stay there for sure. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Cool,
so do you want to do your faves and fails, or should I do my bonus fave right now?
You do your bonus fave. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Let me grab my visual aid.
Oh, geez. Oh, we got poster boards and...
Yeah.
No. Oh, so, I will too.
Yes. Great. See how exciting. I feel like
so excited for her.
This needs to be said. So I got my copy of Beyond the Fallen Realm by TJ Lundin. So by our friend Tiffany.
I have it too.
Showed it to the screen. Yeah.
Yay.
So first of all, we just want to say we're so happy for you. Congratulations. This is her debut novel. It's awesome. So I got this last night in the mail. And I was really, really excited, obviously, about it. I read, I was an alpha reader months ago for this book. And so I've already read it, but obviously I'm going to go back through and I'm going to read the finished copy because it's going to look a lot different now. But I wanted to say that I looked in the acknowledgement section and she put, to my alpha readers, Amy, Ariel, and Liz, you all were the first to read this story. It was a dumpster fire in the best way, and yet you all didn't crush my dreams. You guys are the best.
Aww.
That meant so much. It was so cool. This is like the first book that I've ever been thanked for anything for inside. It was so cool.
That's so sweet. My goodness.
That just made my year. But then also it was just so cool to be able to hold this in my hands. Yeah. And I'm so happy. I'm just so happy for her. I'm so happy for her.
Oh, yeah. Yay!
So everyone go get your copy of Beyond the Fallen Realm by TJ Lundin. And it's book 1 in this series. So we can look forward to additional books coming out in the future.
Yeah, I know at the time of posting this is available on Amazon. I believe the Kindle should be available now too. And then she's going to have hardcovers coming on her website soon with sticker packs and really cute. We've been watching her build this and, show us little snippets too for months. And it's, like you said, it's so exciting to hold it in your hand and know, how hard somebody worked on it. So exciting.
So exciting. So, so those were my faves.
Yee,
my faves and fails of the week.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yee.
So, what about you? What do you got?
My, not spring break, but my spring vacation faves and fails. So my fave is that, we have been trying to get to snow and actual falling snow for this was our 4th trip of the season, if you will.
Okay.
And started with Thanksgiving, no snow at all. It was 20 degrees and the mountain that we go to, and it was no snow, dry, just cold for no reason. And then we tried again in Tahoe. We went for a whole week of New Year's with me and my family. And that's usually guaranteed snow. Okay?
Yeah.
No snow. We had one day where it snowed for 10 minutes and it didn't even touch the ground. It was weird. Even the locals were this is crazy. It was a bummer. But we still had fun. We make the best of it. But it's a big difference when you go with kids to a cabin.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So we had to really, we were exhausted because you just have to think of other things to do. Usually if you snow, you just go outside, play in the snow, come back in, have hot cocoa, super chill. And then we tried again. We did get some snow. I think we went last month just for a day, met up with his sister at a cabin, and there was snow already there, but it was 50 degrees. So everything was melting really fast. So this is the first time. So we planned on doing spring break at this cabin, and it was supposed to start snowing on the day that we would leave. So we're like, let's just stay, you know? Yeah. And we rent it from a family friend. So she's super cool. She's like, nobody's renting. You stay an extra day. So we'll see. Cool. So it snowed so much. We were so excited. It was like, we got there and it snowed crazy over Easter. And so there was still some snow left, but again, it was 50 degrees. So it was melting really fast. And then by like the second, third day, there was like no snow left. And then on the Friday, we got dumped on. So it was like almost a foot of snow in 24 hours. And so it was fun. That was my fave. We were just frolicking in the snow. Like that's where I grew up, or where we grew up. I don't know how much snow you got, but we got snow at least 3 times a year, a significant amount. So that's what we grew up doing. So I really was excited to see my girls kind of experience that. And that's what we were looking for. So we got it. It was great. And then it was warm enough the next day that it was easy to drive home. So it was like the perfect situation. Yeah. And then my fail is that I am having the worst allergy attack of my life still. So I probably don't sound 100% because I'm so stuffy and nothing is helping. And it started, my parents live like that. They kind of butt up to a bunch of orchards. And guys, my fail is that I'll never learn my lesson. Like, you know, with like allergy medicine, Zyrtec and stuff, you need to like accumulate it. You work up, you do it for a few weeks before said allergy season. But my allergies are so unpredictable that I don't really remember. So maybe I'll remember next year. We'll see. Hopefully I will, because this is the worst ever. And maybe it'll make a mark on me and I'll fix it. But, and fall is usually my worst allergy. So we're talking about spring, right? Mm-hmm. So I just got blasted by just crazy allergies when I was there, like runny nose, itchy eyes, watery eyes, and a little bit of sinus pressure, but not too bad at that point. And then we're driving up to the mountains, and it's like my eyes are pouring water, because it's hard when you're first getting it. You're like, am I getting sick or is it allergies? Because they can kind of mimic the same symptoms. Yeah. Which is like so frustrating, because it's like, if I'm sick, I just want to know if I'm sick. Like, let me like figure this out. And so when we were driving, and it's like crazy, it's windy, so you could see the pollen in the air. And like my eyes are watering like crazy. So I'm like, for sure it's allergies. Then we get out of the car to go grocery shopping when we get to the mountains, and I clear up. It felt like it suddenly. It's like probably the car had leftover allergies from one environment, and then we went to a new one. But then there was like new allergies there. So then we got to that. By the time we got back to the house, it was like full blast again. It was a tough time. Like 2 or 3 days of that mountain stay was like a blur. Like I don't even know. And it was, and then I was like second guessing, like, well, maybe I'm sick, but it was all staying in the nose region and itchy ears. So I obviously started taking Zyrtec like that first day we got there, and it helped a little bit, but I don't know. I'm just struggling, guys. I'm struggling. It makes me like have brain fog, and it's just
No, hard. I remember I never had allergies until this one random trip I took to Oregon, like years and years and years ago. I never had allergies. Went on this trip. I had contacts at the time. We were like at dinner, I remember, and all of a sudden my eyes just got like so itchy. I had to ask like the server for 2 little shot glasses or like to-go containers. Yeah, so that I could put my contacts like in them at dinner, because I had to take them out. They were like so uncomfortable. And then my eyes almost got to the point where they were like swollen shut. And I had never had allergies before. And same thing, just like nose running, my ears were itchy, like everything. And that lasted like the rest of that season, but then it would come back every year for like probably like 5 years. And then all of a sudden it just went away.
That's good. It went away, man.
Isn't that weird though? How like it was recurring, because I had never had allergies before, but it was brutal all of a sudden. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really annoying when you also like, now at this point I feel fine, except my sinuses are like, no, you don't. Like, well,
no, you don't. So first things first, let's get into talking about the Ick book that you picked for me. So Courted by a Cowboy by Mindy Neff.
How'd I do? I was purposely trying to sabotage you as best I could.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, one of the rules was that it had to be like around 300 pages or less so that we're not reading super long books and just like, if we did hate them, like it's just taking forever to read them. This was a quick, under 3 pages. It was very quick. Under 300 pager. Basically, okay, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. The male main character, what was even his name? I can't even remember now. I've already forgotten it.
Yeah, because I read that one first. We both read that one first. Oh, I don't know.
I'm blanking out.
I got nothing.
So anyway, so the main male character, what I was worried about is that because it's a cowboy romance, so I was worried about that he was going to be like a super nice guy, cowboy, country dude, small town. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. He was a little bit more of like a quote unquote bad boy. I mean, was he really? Not really. But like, he wasn't super overly nice. He had an edge. He wasn't superly overly nice. He had, he was a little bit like, had a hard go of it for a while there. And so he had a little bit of like a chip on his shoulder, a little dark at times, not super sweet or cutesy. And so, I was actually like, okay, the plot of this is not something that I particularly enjoy, which we'll get into that in a second. But at least he doesn't gross me out.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, it could be worse. Like, because I don't have anything against, like, a white t-shirt wearing Wranglers and boots, cowboy hat guy. Like, I don't have anything against that. Like, that's fine. Like, that could be totally attractive in its own way, as long as he's not, like, cutesy. Although, he did call her Sugar Bear.
Yeah.
Which killed me inside a little bit. Like, that on, like, the scale of nicknames, like the nickname scale, that would be pretty low scoring for me. But other than that, he didn't really gross me out until the fateful evening when she describes him in detail and you realize that he has a diamond earring.
And we found another ick for Liz, which was my secret goal the whole time.
So this guy, I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know what? Great. He's great. It's good. I'm thinking like he's giving Jake Gyllenhaal and Brokeback Mountain vibes. I'm here for the ride. Great. And then I'm like, but he's got a diamond earring. And like, Ashley and I talked about this. And, we're both from a country town. And so I was like, there's just no way that this guy would have like a diamond earring. And she's like, no. Like,
yeah,
he totally would. And this is the thing. Yeah. I mean, this is up for debate and you guys can let us know. I feel like, yes, like maybe like the wannabe cowboys in high school.
Yeah.
I could see that. But once you're like he's not older. I mean, let's be honest. He's only like 28, I think, but whatever. So for a romance book, that's older, unfortunately. Yeah. So for an older quote unquote man who like owns this ranch and is like, I mean, he's up from like dawn until dusk, like doing work. He's not having a diamond earring. Like, I'm sorry.
I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
The more I think about it.
I feel like it was too, like, he's a working man. Like, there's no way. There's no way. That would be like my husband having a diamond earring. Oh my God. Imagine.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Because he does not give off Ross energy. You know what I mean? Because that's what I picture when I picture an earring is Ross on Friends. It's like he does not give off that energy. He's like a full-on, like, rancher guy.
Yeah.
So I felt like that kind of lost me on multiple occasions because...
And it was brought up a lot.
It was brought up a lot because I would forget. I would be like, okay, great. And I'd forget. And then she'd talk about his diamond earring again. I'm like, can you just not let this go? Like, obviously not.
The author really likes it, you know?
So
some of you out there might too.
Yeah, which that's totally great. If that's your thing, cool. But for me, no way. No way. Yeah. So we did discover a new ick. Cowboys are not gross to me, but if they have an earring, then that's too far. But that's any guy, I think. So what did you think about the plot, Ashley?
Okay, we're still not spoilery, right? Or are we spoiling?
Or why don't we just give...
Okay, how about we give our rating?
Yeah.
And then we can spoil things.
Yeah, and then we'll get into spoiling. Okay, so, okay. I without giving too much away... I rated Courted by a Cowboy a 5-star.
5? 5? Wow.
I got it confused.
Okay. Hang on. We're talking about Cowboys with earrings here.
Yeah.
You're like, 5 stars all around. Yeah. Loved it. Can't wait to read it again.
I rated it 3 stars.
Okay, there we go.
And then I think I rated it, I can't remember now, but I'm pretty sure I rated it like a 2 spice. I think that's right. I think a 2 spice is right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a 3-star, 2 spice. Yeah. Not a 5-star. That's for later. I'll explain that later.
Yeah.
So what about you?
And would you recommend it?
I don't know. I have a hard time with this because it's so out of like the wheelhouse of things that I would enjoy reading.
For sure.
But I try to have an open mind. I would say if you're into cowboy romance, then probably give it a shot.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something like easy, it's like you said, it's kind of like reading a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of the level that it's on. If you're looking for something that's this is not a spoiler, she declares it across like all of her platforms. Mindy Neff only writes happily ever afters. So if you're into something that's like happily ever after cowboy romance with Hallmark vibes, then yeah, go for it. Go nuts.
Yeah, a feel good, book with some drama.
Yeah, some unexpected drama, which we'll get into later. So what about you, Ash? What did you rate it?
Yeah, trying to come out. I mean, we did our star rating reviews, right, for you guys. So as a overall review, just based on this type of book, cowboy romance, small town romance, 3 stars. Like for me personally, it would probably get a 2 stars on things that I enjoy, but 3 stars, like, it was okay. It was fine. It was what you expect when you pick it up. It wasn't groundbreaking, revolutionary, but it was a cutesy little Hallmark romance type of vibe.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it to anybody who wants that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, okay, so before getting into too much of the nitty gritty, because I'm just like ready to talk about it, so I'll just go on and on. Okay, so then the book that I chose for you, getting it on with Gargoyles. Yeah, why don't you give us like a little summary of like your thoughts? Did it fulfill your expectations of being an Ick book? Did it not? And then your star reviews, and then I'll tell you what I thought of it.
Dude, when Liz showed me the book that she picked for me, I was like, oh, good gosh. What are we doing here? The name of the book is just abysmal. Getting it on with Gargoyles. I was pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. It was so good.
I love this for us so much.
I just for sure thought, oh, this is going to be the worst. And it wasn't. It was such a good time. It was such a good, cozy time. And I don't read, the abouts almost of anything. I pretty much go on every read blindly. So I just went into it. And it was so cute. So we'll get into that with the spoiler portion. But it was such, if you're looking for, cozy, almost like Halloween Town vibe, but for adults. It was small town romance, and this was a really good way of doing it that I liked.
Obsessed. Yeah. I thought I would hate it too, just based on small town romance kind of vibes, and I loved it also. So yeah, kudos. Yeah.
The tails situation, I have not changed my mind about. Yes, it was brought up too much, but all right, okay, I get it. I get it for some people. That's fine for you. So
you
just
better
know that.
not have skimmed. We'll talk about this later, but you better not have skimmed through the really good tail parts because that's cheating.
I didn't. Okay, I suffered through it.
If I had to hear about the earring, you had to hear about the tail.
I read it.
Okay, all right.
Unfortunately for me, but with that said, gosh, I have a hard time, other than my personal ick about the tails, I had a hard time finding anything wrong with it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't, and I was trying to.
Yeah, totally. I think that's what needs to be said also, is for a book like this, for us to go into it with that preconceived notion that neither of us are going to like it and come out, both of us loving it. That says a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I need to give it 5 stars. Because I want to keep going. There's more. It's a whole series. I thought Liz was like a little bit ahead of me on this one, and she's posting that she's buying the whole series and collection, and I'm just like, okay, slow down here. There's no way it's that good. And then when I finished, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of want to know what happens next, because it does leave with some questions unanswered in a good way, you know, in a I'll keep reading it kind of way. I was I'm shocked. I'm mind blown. Yeah. What's another word? Because that's what I'm feeling. I didn't see it coming.
Didn't see it coming. I know. Finding books you love in unlikely places. You know, I think that's what this is about. Yeah, I rated it 5 stars also.
Yeah.
So
I could tell. I predicted with the ordering of the entire series. So.
Yeah. So just to let you guys know, so it's called Getting It On with Gargoyles. It's by Hazel Mack. So that's the name of the author. And yeah, I rated it 5 stars. I feel like I haven't done my official rating of it yet because I wanted to do this episode first, but I think on the spice scale, I put it probably somewhere around like a 3, maybe a 3.5, but like around a 3. I felt like it was very balanced. Yeah. And we'll get more into that later, but I would recommend this for probably just about like anyone who likes romance and fantasy. Like,
well, and hey, this was my first monster romance, and it wasn't as horrifying as I thought. So it'd be a good intro to monster romance.
Yeah, because the characters are very likable, and
they are. Yeah, but it's not too sweet. It was a great balance. It was great. Of the characters. Here's the thing, because both of these books sat around 250 pages, and the Getting It On with Gargoyles, I can't take that freaking title seriously, but whatever. If anything's wrong with it, it's that. So for an author, I feel like to have so many characters and make them more than one-dimensional, 3-dimensional, have just very well-written characters in such a short amount of pages, a short amount of book, thought you did a great job. Yeah. It was good. World building, like everything. Yeah. Being able to squeeze all that, but not feel like it's squeezed. Like it was just good pacing. Like I said, I was looking for everything. When I'm like, am I really giving this 5 stars? Well, I can't deduct any stars.
Yeah.
And I want to keep going. And I would read this again in the fall if I want something cozy to read and chill. Yeah. Totally. And it makes me now wonder. I always see that Legends and Latte book floating around, and I can't get past the cover. But everybody loves it, and I'm like, I wonder if that's like vibes, like the same kind of vibes. Not the same story, but like, yeah. So I might like it. I might pick it up. A whole new world.
Like for me, like being a dark romance girly, like, and really just not liking cutesy stuff, like I loved it too. So that's why I think that, you know, if you're into dark romance, if you're into a contemporary romance, regular, whatever, you know, I feel like this would be a great.
Give it a shot.
Great read. Yeah, give it a shot. See what you think. Here, I have a visual aid. Another one. I have to show you guys.
Oh, that's so cute.
So we have Getting It On with Gargoyles. Then we have book 2, Tangling with Trolls. Then we have book 3, Partying with Pixies. And then we have book 4, which is called Waltzing with Witches. And so, yeah, I really did buy the whole series. Book 5 is going to come out soon, apparently, too. I even chit-chatted with author a little bit on Instagram. She was lovely. And just so you guys know, she also writes under a pen name, Dark Romance. So we might get into that later. I think I'm going to order some of those from her. But
we discovered a new author, discovered a new genre, discovered just new things. Open minds, you know? Maybe the Cowboys didn't do it, but no surprise, the monsters did. So
yeah, we were into the Gargoyles.
Yeah, you know, so it was good story. Definitely written differently too, though. That's why, that's why even as trying to keep an open mind about like, you know, cowboy romance, small town romance. That's why for me it still stays at 3 stars for Courted by a Cowboy, because I didn't love the way it was written, and there was a lot of like.
Issues.
There's a lot of really listen, I mess up sayings a lot, you know, whatever they're called, idioms and stuff.
Yeah.
But like they don't mess it up. It's just a lot of country idioms that like takes it out for me, and they're really like wild. Yeah. Like I said in our live, we were doing our book club live about Goth Canada, because I had just read a sentence. It's like, it feels like 2 chickens sitting on my head out there. And I'm like, literally, what does that mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
What? I've never heard that. I think if you're going to use those things, it needs to be like phrases that are pretty common, essentially. But
yeah, so
you tell me if you live in the South. Do you guys say that all the time? I don't know.
Maybe if you stick around, I'll read a few of my highlighted quotes from the book for you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we should get into the spoilery.
Yeah, it's been
portion. It's been
probably
a while.
30 minutes, 45 minutes. Time for the spoiler portion.
So to go back to, we'll just start with Courted by a Cowboy.
Yeah.
So, all right. let's talk about this plot.
Yeah.
So basically the plot is that you have this woman. She's like in her early 20s.
Yeah.
She's a veterinarian.
She might be like 28. They're in high school together. I think they're about the same age.
Okay, that's true.
Because she's graduated.
So
she's a veterinarian school takes like 10 years.
because she was going to turn, you're right. She was going to turn 30
She's going to turn 30.
soon.
Yeah,
So she actually is a little bit older. So that's
Which is
good.
nice. Yeah.
She didn't really act older, but she was older.
Yeah, that's true. She's still had some learning to do, but
yeah.
Oh.
We all do.
Yeah.
But so she's like living in LA and she's like engaged and her fiance breaks up with her. And
very Hallmark. Runs,
yeah,
mom calls her back to the country.
Yeah, exactly. So she's feeling kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. She basically works as like a high level, like, I don't know. She works for the government, like, doing some type of agricultural thing. I don't know anything about this, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that part of it was believable because that's got to be a real job. Like someone who goes around and makes sure that all these big like farming operations are functioning according to regulations.
Not having outbreaks and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So her mom calls, though, and tells her that, this tiny town that she's from in Texas, the farmers and ranchers are having issues with the cows dying of some mystery disease.
Yeah. And she loves her small town, and she doesn't want to see it, like, on the news and blasted because she knows it'll ruin their agriculture and their business, and because they just got the town back and running, essentially. She loves her small town, but it doesn't sound like she visited it for 12 years.
Yeah.
She loves her mama, but it doesn't sound like she visited her for 12 years. She loves her friends.
Yeah.
She never visited them for 12 years. Never talked to them either.
No.
It's weird. That was an issue that I had with the relationships.
Yeah. It was like, she loves her town, her mom. Yeah, exactly. Like her brother and her friends, her 3 best girlfriends or whatever, but hadn't talked to them forever when she fled this town because this guy whose name we cannot remember, that's going to drive me insane.
I'll look it up while you talk.
Okay. So because this guy who she dated in high school, was it only in high school or was it also slightly after high school? I can't remember. Basically when she was real young and like lived in this town. Yeah. But then she saw him kissing another girl, and instead of asking him, so this was classic miscommunication, which just makes me crazy. Instead of asking him like, hey, what's going on? Or let's talk about it. Or even being mad and getting to an argument, she literally just fled the town and went to LA.
Yep.
That's it. And now it's been 12 years or whatever, and now she's back. Come to find out, her mom, who is meddling in her life, actually called her back to this town because whose cows are the cows that are mysteriously dying? His cows.
And his name is Jack.
Jack, okay. Very memorable.
My gosh, it's like the standard cowboy name. How do we not? Jackson Slade.
Jackson, yeah.
Jackson Slade.
It adds up. I think I want to block out the Slade part because one of my favorite book boyfriends from Play to Prisoner series is Slade, and I can't like relate those two in my mind.
See, Slade to me would have an earring, so
no. Read Play to Prisoner, you'll be like, no way. But Jack, that tracks for sure. So she goes back to this town. Lo and behold, it's Jack's farm that is the one that, he's had like 2 cows die or something like that. And so she's like, I'm going to call in all my secret favors from this government agency that I work for to try to, on the DL, solve this cow mystery so that the town's reputation doesn't go like down the tubes or whatever. Does that about like sum it up?
Not secret. CSI Cow Mystery we were not prepared for. That was a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a time.
It made it more... It took a turn I wasn't expecting.
No, yeah,
I wasn't expecting... I mean, because we're at the spoiler section, I wasn't expecting a murder mystery to be solved. She's just your average, regular, everyday lady that solves murders. I forget her name.
Works for the government in some type of biological capacity.
Yeah, and
She also, okay, so here's the thing. So she ends up, like, figuring out that it's basically, like, one of the ranch hands.
Yeah.
That's, like, working for Jack that is mixing something into the cow's feed.
To, like, get back at him. That whole part was, like, done in one paragraph. It felt like, okay, you know how we felt at... This is a little spoilery for anybody who hasn't read Iron Flame yet. I'm not going to say details, but just how, okay, chaotic the ending of Iron Flame was. That was the same vibes I got from this. So it's not, like, super spoilery, but it was just, like... So much was happening, and it was just like, what? But, like, nothing, but it is, and, like, this is, like...
Like, so much, but nothing at the same time.
Yeah, it was just chaotic. I don't want to say for no reason, because I'm sure a situation like that would be chaotic, but it could have been done better.
She had to wrap it up. I think that was the
She wrapped it up
line.
too fast. Like, oh, crap, I only have 2 pages left that I was,
and then it's crazy.
Guaranteed for publishing, and I have to jam it all in one more page. That's what it felt like.
My favorite thing, though, is that when she finds out that it's this ranch hand, we find out she's like a black belt.
Yes, I knew you were going to say that. So convenient. Oh, by the way, I'm a black belt. Yeah.
And she, like, takes him down, kind of. Like, I mean,
this
she
little tiny woman, which he did say in his point of view many times, this little tiny woman.
Yeah.
So that was annoying.
She's like... Well, at least I've got a black belt in karate. Freaking takes him down, puts his arms behind his back. Jack comes out and, helps or whatever.
Yeah.
But she does the majority of it, and they take this guy down and basically figure out that he was, like, the culprit to the whole thing. And then...
But, like, why? But then he also could be the dad of his daughter, because he ended up marrying the girl that he kissed, or kissed him.
Oh, right.
He ended up
was
getting
crazy.
Revenge, getting revenge time.
Hold on. We have to back up and explain. Okay.
Because we jumped the gun here.
Yeah. So that's the main point of the plot. Okay, what we already said. But then there's this side plot of, like, okay, so Jack, this woman that Jack kissed.
Or kissed him.
Who kissed him. Yeah, so that's what ended up happening. It's classic, right? She kissed him. He was like, I don't want to kiss you. But by the time he said that...
She already saw. Yeah.
She already saw. That's where the whole miscommunication came into effect. Well, then, once, she fled the town, he's like, well, I guess I'll date this lady because she likes me. And then gets her pregnant and ends up marrying her. And you kind of... And you get this, I mean, they basically tell you don't even get a feeling, that he never loved her.
But he was just trying to do the right thing.
Exactly.
In the country, that's a lot of times,
what
the traditional thing.
Yeah. But he does love his daughter very, very much. He's a great dad. So, I mean, I'm like, I don't know why I'm defending this fictional character.
The mom is bad. The mom takes off, like, when the daughter's 6.
And then she dies.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that was the part that I thought was really funny.
I got the, like, impression maybe she was into, narcotics and drugs and stuff.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But I just thought it was kind of funny because there was, like, a point where, like, the main female character said a snide remark to Jack about, well, you just went off and married her and blah, 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 and where is she now? And he's like, oh, she died.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, because I was like in the really beginning of the book too, and I was like, way to put your foot in your mouth. That was like uncomfortable for me to read. That's awkward. But they were broken up. They had gotten a divorce before she died.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so to go back, so that's the backstory, and then when we find out the stuff about the ranch hand, okay, so go back to the daughter part that you were talking about.
So allegedly the guy that is killing off the cows is doing it to get back at Jackson Slade because he thinks he should own... The guy's mental. Well, they said he fell off crazy. One too many cows, like doing bull riding, rodeo. I mean, I feel like I should agree with him because it doesn't make any sense. He somehow deserves the ranch. Oh, because he used to go drinking. I was confused because I thought this ranch hand just like came out of nowhere and he just hired him. I never got the impression he was from that town until the guy said that.
I think I got that impression that he was like from the town that he had just randomly hired him not that long before.
Yeah, because he would come up into some bad things, but then isn't he the one that had the mom and daughter die? Or his wife and daughter? died.
in like a crazy fire, right?
So it was really just the wife that died that he killed. So we find out. Yeah. Was the wife was the girl that he kissed that Jackson Slade used to be married to. It's very much like Love Triangle-y, but not, because there was not much love on Jack's part. But yeah, so then he's claiming that the daughter is actually his, and so he's trying to like slowly get rid of everybody so he can have his daughter, which they don't really know if that's true or not, but he's claiming that he was hooking up with this girl before he married her. And she probably took him because he had the ranch and everything. But the guy claims he deserves the ranch because the drunk dad would always tell him, I know this is like crazy, that he deserves to have it and he should have it. Like just was drinking buddy. Like just saying drinking buddy things, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you get it because he doesn't like his son.
He's delusional. I mean, he's obviously delusional because he's saying that he wants all this so that he can essentially steal everything that Jack has, including his daughter, that he's claiming is his daughter. But he used that like cow poison to like kill that chick, right? Right?
Yeah, he used it on her first.
Yeah, like tested it out by like killing a human being.
He also said that he loved her so much. So why did he kill? I don't. I think this guy is like cuckoo. Just mental. Yeah, because like, what is the goal in killing all the cows slowly? I don't know what the goal really is here.
It was basically like, here, picture it. Close your eyes and let me guide you through this journey.
Closing.
So
everybody, close your eyes unless you're driving.
Yeah, you're in, unless you're driving, don't do that. We learned that last time on the last episode. So the first like 80, no. Like 90% of the book is like, 90% of the book, I will die on this hill, is like Hallmark movie, kind of predictable. She's falling back in love with this guy that she thought that she hated after he broke her heart because of this thing that was a misunderstanding, blah, blah, blah. She loves his daughter. He loves his daughter. They'd make the perfect family. She's resisting it. He's resisting it, but then they give in, right? That's basically what it is.
Push-pull. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like slow burn. It was okay.
Won't they? You know?
And then the last 10% is literally like all this other stuff we're talking about where it's like, this guy is crazy. She knows karate. He killed someone whose daughter is the daughter. It was just wild.
And then, I love you, the end.
Yeah. That's it. That's how it went. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a crazy time.
just that part. I wouldn't even say 10%. Last like 2%.
It was very short. It was very short of like, but it was like so much crazy jam packed into the end. So I don't know. That almost made it like more amusing to me.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, I was like, I mean, as far as icks go, since I feel we do need to talk about that. As far as icks go, I hate miscommunication. So that definitely like hit it for me. We discovered that I can't deal with an earring. So that is great. That brought up a new thing that I hate. You know, Cowboys, they don't ick me out, so that's okay. I'm trying to think of like, there was a bonus chapter called like Surprised by a Baby. It wasn't a bonus chapter. It was
going to be the next book.
The first chapter of the next book, and I didn't even read it because I knew I would not continue on.
Yeah.
So there could have been a surprise pregnancy had I continued reading, but I didn't.
I think it's about the other girls, because it's supposed to go through each girl's love lives.
Right,
in the hometown.
Right, exactly. And the whole, like, I don't want to say this is an ick for me, but, like, reading about the whole, like, guy, single... Okay, this is what it is. Single dad, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it for me. Like, I don't really want to, like, read about, like... hanging out with like little kids in romance books. Like that's not for me. Like and I totally understand how that could be very like, I don't know, some people could really be into that, like single dad trope. It just isn't my thing. So I would say that you totally accomplished your goal of picking a book for me that I didn't enjoy, but it was crazy at the same time at the end. So it entertained me enough to read it. Oh, I will say, did you save any of the like hilarious quotes from it?
Not on hand.
Okay. Let me see. Well, do you have any other thoughts about it before we move on to getting it on with Gargoyles?
No, I think that covers it. That just about does it.
I feel like I really need to share a couple of my annotations, though, with the room so that you guys can really, like, understand the level that we were talking about as far as, like, the language used.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I don't know.
So I'm bringing them up right now.
Okay.
I have like so many of them. Okay, so his hand, this is my favorite one, okay. His hands fairly itched to smooth over the curve of her derriere, where snug denim hugged her flesh like the skin on a nectarine.
Oh my gosh. That was the one that I was like, oh, it's Joey from Friends when he's using the thesaurus for everything. Like it's too many words.
Yep. So that was kind of just a little like taster. Like here's another one. Her heart was doing a fine imitation of a wild stallion's gallop. It's just
it's too much. It's too much.
Oh, this was a good one too. Like they're finally like making out after like 80% of the book or whatever. And he says, "I don't intend to stop, Sugar Bear. I meant it's not right that we're going at it like rabid coyotes ripping into a lamb."
Blah. Way to really get into the moment here. What?
Yeah. Although, I did, and I'm glad that I looked this up because I feel like this is something that needs to go in the same category as idiot boys making rash decisions. So she like is describing Jack's like expression when she's trying to like explain her feelings at one point, and she describes the way that he is responding to what she's saying as quote unquote endearing endearing masculine confusion.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, that's so hilarious and spot on. And there's so many times in so many books where it can be explained, like, what's going on with this guy? Oh, just endearing male or masculine confusion. That's what's going on. And I was like, you know what? That's actually kind of hilarious. And I'm glad that she put that in there. So that line made it worth it. So yeah. So I feel like that's why I rated it 3 stars.
There you go.
But you did accomplish your goals. So congratulations.
Yeah. There you go. Mm-hmm. And then some. Not sabotage. And you, my friend, accidentally found a really good book for us.
I know. A series, in fact, an author.
Yeah. So getting tell me about Gargoyles.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Like I said, I was not expecting it to be such a cute time. So the premise is there's these triplets, and I thought, oh, great, I'm going to be pandered to the whole time. Is like, oh, because they named themselves after the Sanderson sisters, because that can go either way. I hate feeling pandered to. That's an ick of mine, too. Of like, oh, they love reading so much, just like you, the reader. I'm like, shut up. So I was like, okay, this can go either way. But it's cute. They're supposed to be having a girls' trip. They have this map, and then they get to this gas station because they're about to run out of gas, but the map is actually calling them. So then there lies Shepherd, the husky, rough and tumble man of a man. I don't know.
The husky. And I'm like picturing like a husky dog.
There's a reason why you usually do the synopsis here, okay?
No, I love it. I love it. He's basically the tall, dark, and handsome guy behind the counter at the gas station in the middle of nowhere who you would never expect to see there.
Yes. So that right there was like, weird.
Is he a gargoyle?
Is he a gargoyle? Maybe.
Maybe.
So he leads them to where they need to go with a special marker. And they go to where they need to go. Yeah. He tells them where to stay. They start noticing some weird things. And then they find out that they're in Monsterville. And it's adorable. And it's so cute because it's just done in such a way that it doesn't pull you out of the story. You know, it's like, great. What if? Like, what if there was this protection ward and when you pass through it, if you had something an object that called to you, that's what I mean. It's like there's so much secret world building that was happening that like kept you in the story. And
well, it had like those, and I think you touched on this before, it has those nostalgic, like late 80s, 90s movie vibes of like, here you are, like, let's say like me and Ashley decide to go on a road trip, you know, because we found this cool old map at a thrift store, right?
Yeah.
And we can't find this town because it's really small. There's only like 800 people that live there. And so we decide to pull over this gas station where this super hot guy gives us directions to this town. Well, we go to this town and it's like, just the way she describes it, how quaint it is, how perfect it is. They're staying at like this bed and breakfast that's just really cute. And it's like this picturesque town. And I loved the fact that, like, basically, so what it is it's a little town that has magical wards around it where monsters can go to, like, essentially live in harmony and peace away from the outside world that judges them, right? So you have gargoyles, you have vampires, you have, I don't know, like witches.
Pixies, like all those books that you said, you know, too. Trolls and... Yeah, it's super cool. But they have a glamour on them when they get there. So they don't know right away, so they're not scared. So I liked that. Because that would be like, what the heck?
But then I liked the fact that they got right to it. Yeah. It wasn't like... Because I was afraid it was going to be like, great, it's going to be a whole miscommunication thing where they're there in the town, and then she falls for Shepherd because we know that's what's going to happen. And then he's like she finds out he's a gargoyle, and then she freaks out. And I mean, they freaked out, but the town has this policy where they call like a town meeting and tell the new people, hey, this is what's going on, like right out of the bat. Like, right there.
Yeah.
So
it was done really well.
It was done really well. So then they have an opportunity to decide whether or not they want to stay. And basically they decide to stay because the main character, you know, is like falling in love with. But
it takes time, Shepherd. Which I appreciated too. They didn't decide to stay right away because the way the time works is their time, what they say, so a weekend in human world is like 3 months in ever. The monster town. So they can stay for their girls' weekend, but make it like they can stay for 3 months and it's still only a girls' weekend. So nobody will be worried about them at home, which they lost their parents recently. So they kind of don't really have many ties left to the natural world. So it's it's perfect. Except their aunt, and they're kind of wafty about their jobs if they want to go back. So, but I liked that they weren't instantly like, oh, we'll stay. I mean, that's how I would be. But I liked it was more realistic that they were like really having to decide, and the different dynamics of like one sister not knowing if she wants to stay and being supportive of her journey and helping her with that, not just trying to pressure each other into whatever decision they want. It just felt very natural.
Yeah. Like they had to really like come to terms with this new information, which is a lot of information, finding out that these creatures exist at all, let alone, you know, are in this like town and they want you to stay and everyone's so pleasant and they're your new friends. Yeah. And, you know, Shepherd ends up being the main girl's like mate. Yeah. And then the mayor of the town, who's like this vampire dude, he claims that he's one of her sister's mates, but we didn't really find out where that goes.
He's off about it. Yeah. He's not very fun about it at all.
That's going to be like a future book. But yeah, so that was really cool. Like I liked all that. And then, you know, the conflict basically just originates from the fact that, you know, they can't just have their little paradise without there being something that could mess it up. So there's, you know, monsters that
the thralls.
The thralls who want to essentially ruin all these little like refuge towns that they've got going on.
And like this previous mate of somebody else was a warlock, and he wants to essentially take over the world and feels like monsters should take over humans and everything instead of hiding. So, but they don't even necessarily feel like they're hiding. They're just in their quiet little sanctuaries. They're perfect little places. Yeah. So it's great.
Yes. And the spice was great. I felt like it was like a little bit of slow burn, but not too much to where it was annoying. And like it was a good amount of spice. It was balanced with the story. I felt like I loved all the characters. I can't wait. Shepherd's brother, I know I'm going to really like him. Yeah. He's a single dad, so I don't know. But like,
but see, we had, so it's interesting because we had a lot of like similar aspects going into it of small town. There's single dad in both of them. And it was just so differently done that it was enjoyable. Because I feel like the single dad trope in this, it wasn't so played out. Like, they didn't constantly talk about that boy. You know, it was done in a cute, like, way of just to show that she's becoming part of the family. And that she's gaining their trust also. Because especially with kids, like, it's harder to gain trust almost.
And it was so cute. His little, like, tiny gargoyle son who would, like, fly around.
His tail was fine.
Yeah. Cute.
That was cute.
So it didn't bother me. And I actually look forward to reading, like, 'cause I'm assuming one of the future books is going to be about his brother. And he's kind of, like, grumpy and, like, hardened heart to the world because he got left by, you know, his son's mom. And all that kind of stuff. So it was cute. It was good. I feel like, and like you said, it left on, like, you could read this by itself and be happy with the ending, but I feel like most people would probably want to continue on.
Yeah. Well, and to we're in the spoiler section, so just to say it, like, but that's what's going to keep me reading is we don't find out resolution with the thralls, but they are progressing to it. So it's not done. It's not like la la la, nothing ever happens with it. It does, like, but you have to just keep reading to do it. And it's only a 250-page book, so you can
easy peasy.
Yeah.
But yet, great. At the same time, for people who read high fantasy and fantasy like us, it gave us enough to really entertain us and keep us satisfied. So I think that says a lot, because I don't necessarily need intense world building and everything, but I do need things to make sense.
Yeah,
and I feel like it did.
And maybe it's because we're pulling from those like 90s Halloween vibes movies, but that is it's exactly what it is. You know,
it was great.
I would love it to see this, like the adult content tamed down and just be a cute little Halloween movie. It would be so
cute. Yeah.
It'd be so cute. True.
Love it.
Or fall. Not even, it doesn't even have to be like Halloween, but just like a fall cozy movie that you would pop on with some hot cocoa by the fireside.
Yeah.
Adorable.
So yeah, I mean, I would recommend this to anyone who's wanting to, like you said, get into monster romance, for anyone who likes romance, even dark romance. I feel like Shepard's character is written in such a way to, I feel like, be very like universally liked, because he's a good guy, but he's not overly like lovey-dovey and gross. He's not too dark.
He has self-awareness. Yeah. That was a big thing, because it could have easily, and he even like in his point of views is saying like, this is what we usually do. Like they come on really strong, the gargoyle tradition, monster tradition. Once they have their mate, like they're in it. Like, I love you, everything, let's get married. Cause like me as a human woman, I'd be like, well, that's my ick. Like
I just found out gargoyles existed. You want to be married now? That's crazy.
Calm down. But so he has his internal monologue of like, I know they do things differently. I need to slow my roll. So it was the perfect balance of like pursuing her without being too much. Yeah. Like, you know, coming on to icky. So that was great.
Totally. I agree. So yeah, 5 stars from both of us. What a surprise.
What a time.
I know.
What a surprise.
So what would you say that you learned then from this experience?
Well, you know, to just keep having an open mind, babes, because you never know. You never know. Because, and you know what? I definitely judge books by their cover most of the time, I would say. Like, especially when I go to buy something. You know, I'm going to look at the cover. I would never have picked this book. And I almost feel like, for me, the name, the title, the cover don't do this book justice, because I don't know. I feel like a lot of people might pass over it like me. Because it's like, well, do I really want to be like having a book out? You know, I read this on my Kindle. I don't want to have a book out. It's like getting on with Gargoyles. It just brings too many questions. I don't want people asking me what I'm reading, you know, most of the time. I want to be just reading it. They're like, what the heck are you reading? I'm like, well, okay, here we go. Now I got to defend my book, you know? So I just feel like it doesn't do it justice because it's so good. But that's on me. So maybe my lesson is not to judge books so much by their cover. Have an open mind with icks. This small town romance was done very well. Yeah. It doesn't give that. It can almost give that, like, you know, rumors, chatty, everybody in your business vibes, but it does it in such a way that's not. So people still respect your boundaries, as opposed to Courted by a Cowboy, which was very much like what we grew up in, that environment. Small town, everybody's in each other's business. No boundaries, our respected. And
super catty and gross. Yeah.
So that's what I learned from my ick book. Tales, no, haven't changed my mind. I thought maybe, but listen, I get it. It just ain't for me. Yeah. So, did I enjoy it? The tail situation? No.
Yeah. But it didn't deter you from liking this book, so that's good.
No,
it was balanced.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So, I learned that my cold, dead heart can still enjoy a good rom-com.
Yeah, that was a total monster rom-com. So cute.
So, you know, and I went and I DM'd the author and told her that. I was like, thank you for writing a book that I enjoyed so much that it made me like a whole genre that I perhaps would have otherwise written off as disliking. So that's awesome. And I love that because I feel like I'm like, okay, I'm going to take down this series. Like I'm doing a reread of ACOTAR right now, but I'm almost done. So once I finish that, I'm going to go back to this and try to read a couple more this month because I really just enjoyed them a lot. And so, yeah, I think, I do that too, where I judge a book on their cover for sure. I feel like all of us kind of do. It's hard not to. Yeah. Content, not so much. Like I'm usually like pretty much like, okay, I will like, I'm like the trigger warning list doesn't matter to me, right? Like just throw it at me, it's fine. I almost work in the opposite direction where I'm like, is this going to be so cutesy I can't take it?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, this definitely opened my eyes to the fact that like I can like rom-com books, and just because it's cutesy in some ways doesn't mean that it can't be balanced in other ways and still enjoyable for me. So it was a win for sure.
Did you learn anything from your Cowboy ick read? I mean, I know one thing you learned.
I learned that I can't deal with men with earrings. But that's about it. I feel like everything else I felt pretty, like I knew that's how I'd respond. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a Hallmark book, Which, and I don't mind putting on a good little Hallmark Christmas movie,
See, I can't even
Christmas,
really do
though.
that. Yeah.
I like the Christmas ones because they're really, you can watch them around my kids, look at, and nothing's going to happen, you know? It's very PG. So
I'm the type of person
that's what I like it in this instance. But regular Hallmark, no.
Yeah, I can't do that. But even with the Christmas ones, I have a hard time. So I kind of knew going into it, like that would be how I felt about it. I discovered a new ick, but everything else kind of fulfilled the expectations that I had for it.
Yeah. Hey, well, thank you for picking such a good book secretly for me because look at that.
I know. I'm excited. It's like just to kind of talk about where this series is going because I'm sure we'll do, suggestions from you guys for books we might not like. Oh, yeah.
Well, let's do that right now real quick. Put a pin on what you're going to say. Hop over to our Instagram DMs after this, or if you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment. Let us know what books you would recommend for our ick.
Okay. Yeah. Do it. Yeah. Tell us. We'll post it too, just to kind of like as a reminder, but we want to know. Make as many suggestions as you want. You don't have to just pick one.
It can even be like a change our minds. Find a tale book for me that'll change my mind.
I mean, I think this kind of did that.
Cute. I don't know. I didn't change my mind about tales though.
Okay, well that might be a tall order.
Yeah. Because that's somebody finding a man with an earring to change your mind. So I don't know. Throw us some ick books. I don't know, or just books that you thought were just the worst. I don't know.
Yeah, and then we have to read them. Yeah, because I feel like this is definitely going to turn into a series of books we don't like. But then we're also going to kind of do the flip side of that too, where we're going to talk about like tropes we really enjoy, and then try to pick some books for each other that we haven't read before that we think the other person will really love, and we'll see where that goes too. So it's kind of both sides of the coin. But yeah, we'll definitely post some things over on Instagram, polls and questions to kind of get your guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to read books that maybe we wouldn't have picked for ourselves and kind of see where that goes.
For sure. I totally recommend it, man. Totally do. So, try out these books or talk to your book bestie out there and pick each other some ick books and you might find a new one, Not that we have like, we have no books to read. We have no TBR stack. But just throw it in there. Just add in. What's another one?
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Especially if they're quick reads too,
Yeah.
So I feel like that about wraps it up with the book summary. So why don't we end it on, if you stuck around, thank you. This has been a time. I love it.
Yeah.
But we'll end with our smash or pass of the day.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Do you want me to start? Or do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever.
So, I forgot to talk about one of the things that I did when I was in Colorado. We went to Disney on Ice, which I hadn't gone to before. Yeah, I'd never been to
awesome.
before. Yeah, it was super cute. Really loved it. So anyway, this implanted this into my mind. Smash or pass, the genie from Aladdin, animated or live action is fine.
Literally pass on both. What's your answer?
I think also
he has a tail.
He has a tail.
Essentially, essentially. When he comes out, when he's floating around.
That's not really a tail. That's like his spirit, like body.
Yeah. Imagine if I say yes and I don't with ghosts. So
that's true. He is ghost adjacent.
Yeah.
Because he has to like suck down and like go into the bottle. But that's not a tail. That's just like whiskey stuff.
It's a gray area.
It's a gray area. Yeah, no, mine would be a pass for sure.
Even, I know you used to love Will Smith. So even the animated.
You mean
you have
the live action?
I mean, sorry, live action. Yeah.
As the genie, no.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
No. I do really like Will Smith. I like Will Smith because he's funny.
Yeah.
It's like it's different.
Yeah.
It's like a different kind of like for me. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, it would be a pass for me too. But I had to know.
Okay. So for you, this one is Crescent City 1 related, House of Earth and Blood. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think we need to know because we like to talk about villains here. So my unhinged smash or pass for you is Micah.
Oh, smash, 100%.
Wow! He's so bad.
I've thought about it.
Oh, he's such a terrible person.
Yeah, no, Micah would be like the guy who I want to read the reverse fairy tale perspective about.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's too bad. He's too far gone for me. Pass.
No,
obviously.
He's definitely, because we don't really know. So
True.
I would be curious to read his story, history, perspective. You know, it's like the classic villain, like, retelling. Like, that's what I would want to hear Micah's perspective. Yes, I've definitely thought about that before. Smash for sure.
The end. Bye-bye.
The end. Bye. I'll be curious.
Can't wait.
I'll be curious, to see what everyone says about that.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, if you don't follow us on Instagram, this is our another plug to do that. Go follow us on Instagram at Besties and Looks Podcast, because on Saturdays, or the weekend, if we are lagging, we post it to you guys in our stories. You can vote. Smash or pass on these unhinged ones of the week. So on Saturday, we'll see you guys there, and you can vote. And you can do your chance to vote for the genie and or Micah. Yeah. So there you go. It's so fun to see people's reactions. It usually is different than I think it's going to go.
I think, this is what I think is really weird, just to kind of go off on a little side tangent about the smash or pass. Okay, what have we discovered? We discovered a lot of things. I feel like this is creating a really, really interesting body of research about the people who follow us. But what I think is really interesting is you could take someone so desired, okay? So like this last week it was Loki. So you take someone so desired like Loki. Everyone loves him, right? He's like so easy on the eyes. We all love him. Put him in a mech suit and no one wants him anymore. It's like the mech suit is the kiss of death for anyone. Who would have thought? I know.
No one would have guessed that.
Hunt in a mech suit, everyone's like, pass.
That had even less votes.
I know.
More people were apt to go for Loki.
Yeah, Loki, Tom Hiddleston, or whatever his name is, like, pass on him too. I'm like,
so
seriously?
Funny.
So now I'm like, so basically we could put anyone. Brad Pitt in his heyday, we could put in a mech suit, and people would be like, nope, I'm kicking that guy to the curb. Can't do it. Which I think is hilarious, because to me, I pictured a mech suit more like the Iron Man suit, which I'm like an Iron Man girl, so I'm totally fine with it. I'm like, throw Loki in the mech suit. Throw Hunt in the mech suit. Like, I don't even care. I got a whole bunch of Iron
visual
Man.
aids were definitely like, the freaking, very like janky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The visual aids that we posted that Ashley came up with do not look like Iron Man suits. No.
Yeah, but
that's what I
because how they were described in the second book was very large and clunky. Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to keep it as
authentic as possible.
Authentic, yeah. Not what I would want.
So I guess this is my question. Who do we have to put in a mech suit for it to be a smash?
For you guys to smash them.
I know.
Come on.
Please tell us.
What would it take for you?
Honestly curious.
Ooh,
I'm honestly
okay, let's
curious.
put that on there. We should do that. We should do a bonus question on Saturday.
Because it's literally the kiss of death.
If you're listening to this, if you're on YouTube watching this, let us know in the comments. Who could you, like, no matter what, mech suit and all, diamond earring and all, tail and all.
Oh.
Whatever your ick is, who would you still smash?
I just thought about, like, what if, like, because Hunt in a mech suit, fine. Hunt dressed up as Gollum, fine. You're like, Hunt with a diamond earring. I mean, I still have to say fine, but I would have to like cover my eyes or like cover his ear. You know, I'd have to.
You
like,
have to look at it.
That's so hard. I feel like I would just be like, I can't stop.
It's like glinting.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man, that's hard. But yeah, so tell us who's the smash in the mech suit. We want to know. It's important. All right,
there we go.
It's for science,
and with that said, make sure to follow us, and subscribe and all that jazz. Yes. Go check us out. Come hang with us. And I think we'll see you next Tuesday.
We'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks, guys. Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.